Do you ever wish that you knew things years ago? Meaning, like, if there was information that you had 10, 20, 30 years ago that would have changed the trajectory of your business, your life, and your money, that it would have really helped you out? Well, me too. Let's face it. There are so many choices we have in our life, and a lot of times, if we are walking or traveling on uncharted territory, we may not know which path to take. Well, today I share with you some of the best decisions I've made and some of the ones that I possibly would have done differently had I known better. So stay tuned. So hi and welcome. I'm Annette Bau, host of the Millionaire Insider. For over 30 years, I have been advising and researching the top 1% and 2% of millionaires to learn what millionaires with amazing lives do differently. And now I'm providing you practical, easy to implement insights so that you can build a profitable business with more affluent clients, as well as insight to create a financially free life you love. So today you're going to love what I'm going to share with you, the best financial decisions I have made. So please remember to click subscribe and ring the bell so you get notified of future episodes. All materials and intellectual property in this episode are copywritten by themillionaireseries.com. The information we provide is not intended to replace any advisor or specialist or to provide you financial, tax, estate planning, legal, retirement, or any financial or healthcare advice. You've got to check with your own specialist. All participants agree to hold Millionaireseries.com and its affiliates harmless for results achieved or not achieved, and all international copyrights are reserved. For today's show notes, go to millionaireseries.com/1006. For all show notes, go to millionaireseries.com/WLI. So let's dive into the best financial decisions I made. The first major decision that was just God sent was my decision to advise and then subsequently research millionaires with amazing lives. In fact, this insight changed the trajectory of my life because I saw early on what happened when people were so focused on money and really didn't understand that, yeah, money is a key ingredient. We want it, but at the same time, we also want our health. We also want our relationships. So it was an eye-opener because I saw some people with amazing lives and others that just had miserable lives. And I thought, oh my gosh, I don't want that. And I think a lot of times when our goal is financial freedom, it's easy to get on that track and not be really clear of how important an amazing life is versus just money. So that was a huge one. Now, today's episode is sponsored by our Wealthy Life Formula Guide. You can go to millionaireseries.com/WL Guide to access it. But this basically shares with you the formula I have discovered in my 30 years of researching and advising on what super successful people with amazing lives do differently. And it's the Wealthy Life Formula Guide. So I encourage you to go to millionaireseries.com/WL Guide. And if you're here and you want to work with affluent clients, you can download our template. It's at millionaireseries.com/AWT. It's our Affluent Women and Couples template, and it really guides you in helping you create a plan. So again, millionaireseries.com/AWT if you want to serve affluent clients. The next thing was to elevate my Worth Barometer. Now, interestingly enough, what I discovered from working with so many millionaires is that the key to an amazing life, the key to success, sustained success, success in different areas of your life begins with your Worth Barometer. And this is your beliefs and your self-esteem. And it dictates our Wealth Barometer, our ability to say yes and to say no, meaning a lot of times people have a hard time saying no, right? But when we say yes to something, we're inherently saying no to something. So we've got to get really clear on what we want in our lives, what we want in our relationships, and then we've got to have the discipline and the fortitude and the clarity of where we're going. Your Worth Barometer makes that possible. It also guides you and allows you to take the time to create a financial plan as well as to execute it. And that's how you create a financially free life you love. The next thing that I did that was so key is I worked on my relationship with money. I grew up in a very poverty-conscious environment. My father lived through the Great Depression, and so it was a lot about not having enough, and we had to keep everything, and we always had to look like we didn't have money. And I mean, I grew up with a lot of really just crazy beliefs. But I also grew up with a belief, which is really interesting. I was a waitress in high school, and I would live vicariously through these millionaires who would come into my restaurant. And I always pick their brain and wanted to know everything about him. And I learned early on the power of asking questions, because one of them ended up hiring me to do surveys, and I learned so much from him, both some of the things that I wanted in my life and some things I wanted to avoid, meaning having an amazing life with money and not just money. But I was able to change that poverty consciousness into an abundance mindset, and it has helped me so much, and it's helped so many of my clients. So make sure and take the time to develop a strong relationship with your money. It was one of the best decisions I've made. And tied to that was, as I mentioned, my Worth Barometer, elevating it, getting an abundance mindset, really valuing money, really understanding it's an energy, and understanding that it's a good thing. So many of us were raised in environments where, money, people who have money are bad, or people are money this. And what I find is that money just brings out more of who you are. So if you're a jerk to begin with, you get money, you're going to be a bigger jerk. If you're a great person to begin with, you're going to be a better person. So, it's not the money so much as the person, but, having a relationship, a healthy relationship with money, and being really clear on its use and that it's a tool and that it's just energy changes everything. The next great decision I made was marrying the right partner. Although my life is not always easy with my husband, because he challenges me and I challenge him, and so it has really required work, I personally feel that selecting a partner that you're going to be able to go through the ebbs and flows of life and deal with the challenges is so critical. Because let's face it, marriage, and I just know from being a financial advisor, it's hard. It requires work. There's challenges, and going through divorce can set you back so far emotionally and financially. Now, obviously, if you're in an abusive relationship or a really toxic one, yeah, you need to get out. Hopefully, you have already worked on your Worth Barometer, and if you're in a relationship like that, you end it before you get married. But choosing who you're going to marry is going to not only help you in the success you achieve, but also going to help you in your bank account where you're not splitting it with someone. So make sure and take the time before you get into a partnership of any kind, or a marriage, whatever it is that works for you. Just make sure that you really are making the right choice there, because that'll help you so much in a lot of areas of your life, as well as your finances. The next great decision I made was starting my financial plan early. Now, I began saving money when I was just saving $25 a month. I didn't have any money. And I remember it was such a big deal. I had to make decisions on what I was going to do and how I was going to do it. But it started with $25 a month going into my investment. And the next thing I did then was pay off all my debt. We live debt-free, and I've lived debt-free for almost 2 decades, and it's a beautiful thing. And I know a lot of people say, oh, you could take that money and invest it, make more money. Clearly. But what they forget in that model is the peace of mind you get by not having debt. So start your financial plan early and avoid debt. The next great decision I made was hiring a really good team of advisors. A good CPA, a good attorney, business attorney. I'm a financial advisor, so a financial advisor attorney, an estate attorney, all the different members of your team, and I will tell you that has paid me back dividends tenfold. Now, that said, have my advisors made mistakes? Yes, they're not perfect. But what I find is that when you have an advisor that's giving you ideas and then you've got knowledge, it's a perfect mix. And, sometimes decisions are made or things are done when you don't necessarily know what's going to be the best outcome, and you got to deal with that. But I'll tell you, hiring a good team of advisors, a good financial advisor, good attorney, good CPA will pay you back tenfold. The next thing is living debt-free. One of the best decisions I've ever made is to live debt-free. Now, I do use credit cards, but I pay them off every month, so I get miles. But not having debt is a beautiful thing. Now, that said, if you own real estate, you know that even though you're debt-free, you still have insurance, you still have taxes. So it doesn't always feel like you're debt-free because you still have some payments. But having your mortgages paid off, having your car, I do lease my car, and the only reason I lease it is because one of my clients owns a dealership, and he went through all the numbers, and by the time I looked at it, it was basically a wash if you're going to get a new car every few years. So again, that's the only way that I have debt. So again, living debt-free, in my opinion, is a must, and it has been a phenomenal decision for us. The next one is living below my means. Now, I know it looks, if you look at my life, you think, oh gosh, you got this big diamond ring, oh, you got these nice houses, oh, you got this nice car. it wasn't like that always. In fact, I drove a Honda for years, and I was fine driving a Honda. The only reason I bought a Lexus is because I liked them, but I'm like, they're too expensive. And one of our neighbors got divorced, and she needed to sell her car, and then, of course, you get into that, and I loved it. We started out in a very modest home, and then we got another home, and now we're building a home, but it didn't start that way. And if I couldn't afford what I have or what I want, then I wouldn't have it. I can remember going to Christmas parties. We would have an open house in our neighborhood where you go to different houses, and you go into these houses. Now, we live in a nice neighborhood, but there were people that had no furniture in their house. And I'm thinking, I'd rather have a house where I can have a couch to sit on than this beautiful home and no furniture. So living well within your means is a good thing, and it's been godsend for me. Begin investing early in life. Now, the dilemma, is it going to be real estate? Is it going to be stocks? Okay, I'm going to talk about real estate for a minute. So if you go to episode 1005, I want to make a note. I went back and calculated one of the biggest clues I give you, and I'm not going to give you here. I want you to go watch that because it was so good. But one of the biggest insights that I learned about real estate investing that I tell you is your number one thing you got to know that I've, for the most part, done a really good job of. We have generated over $500,000 just from that one strategy. I made a lot of money in real estate, and I think that you can make money in real estate, or you could make money in real estate. Moving forward, I don't know, because prices, especially where we live, has just gone out of control. And then stocks. Now, obviously, I'm not here to recommend you do anything except for get a really good advisor, and then you make a decision based on your situation. But what I will say is, for me, what I like about stocks more than, say, real estate is I like the component of not the active management or dealing with tenants. Now, one of the things that I like about real estate is that you can get what's known as sweat equity, meaning you buy a property that needs to be redone, you can do a lot of the work yourself, and then it's going to appreciate. You know, one of the things on why we've made a lot of money in real estate is because my husband and I have done a lot of the work. And it's kind of funny because where our two homes are up in the mountains, one we're selling and the other one's ours, we've done a ton of work. And it's so funny, people are like, you're doing work? I'm like, I don't mind it. I mean, obviously there's some things I don't like doing. I don't like sanding, but there are things that I don't have any problem doing. I'm out in nature, I feel great, and if I want to do it, I'm comfortable doing it. I understand not everyone's like that, and my nails, my nails show it, right? It's like, oh my God, your nails look terrible. They do, but right now we're getting our rental cabin ready, and I'm doing some of this work, even though we have people that are supporting us. And so, you know, there's pros and cons, but the most important thing is that you start early and that you figure out what you're going to do. Now, that said, I do think having revenue and having investments in different areas is really important, being diversified. Oh, this is one of my favorite ones. I've created passive streams of income, both residual and passive. And I am so in love with passive income. Passive income is, especially guaranteed, is where you put a certain amount of money away and then every month you get a check no matter what. Social Security is kind of like that, assuming it stays here with us. Company-sponsored pension plans can be like that. Guaranteed income, where you pay a company a sum of money, an insurance company, and then they guarantee an income stream for your life. I love those streams of income, and we've done a really good job of that. I also like residual income, but the difference between passive and residual income is that residual income is you have to do the work and then you make the money. Passive income, it's like you accumulate money, you put it in, and then you get money back. Now, one of the other things that I've always focused in on are streams of revenue versus a time for money model. I would much rather have an ability to do something once and then get paid on it than have to do it over and over again. Now, some examples of ways in which you can generate revenue. Rental properties, as I mentioned, passive, guaranteed income, residual income, online businesses, network marketing, affiliate marketing, all of those are ways in which you can make money. All right, let's recap. Number one, advising and researching millionaires with Amazing Live. Elevating your Worth Barometer. Elevating my Worth Barometer was huge. Creating a really good relationship with money. Marrying the right person. Starting a financial plan early in my life was huge. Hiring a great team of advisors. Living debt-free and living below my means was huge. Beginning investing early in life and deciding, is real estate right for you or stocks, whatever. Again, check with your own qualified advisor before you begin a plan. And then creating passive and residual income streams, huge, absolutely huge. So there you have it. So today's episode is sponsored by our very own masterclass, How to Get Your Share of the Affluent Women in Couples Market. You can go to millionaireseries.com/affluent. Literally 96% of the advisors in our community that have had amazing results start here. millionaireseries.com/affluent. So please join me. You're going to learn everything you need to about affluent women in couples. And if you want your formula to help you create a wealthy life, you can go to millionaireseries.com/WL-guide. For today's show notes, go to millionaireseries.com/1006. For all show notes tied to the wealthy life, go to millionaireseries.com/WLI. So again, I want to thank you so much for joining me for the best financial decisions I have made. I'm Annette Ba'u, host of Millionaire Insider. All international copyrights are reserved. Now, before you get back to your day, I encourage you to click the link above. That training is specifically designed to help you on the next step on your journey. So again, thank you so much for joining me, and I look forward to seeing you real soon. Bye now.